Yeah. I don't know about you, but every single time I put a headset on, my nose itches. Now,
Well, it's eyebrow for me, so it's even worse because you can just about
whoa,
at the end of your nose.
you just literally had your finger right up your nose.
But when it's eyebrow, you've got no chance. Like,
Yeah,
can't.
it's it must be psychological because my nose doesn't itch that much normally.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
I'm drinking tea. I told you this, so I have to like make sure the headset lifts out a bit.
Always so well prepared for this.
But
And anyway, we've got a serious issue now
why?
because you know how last time we just did this and we're messing about.
Yeah.
Well, now some people have watched it. Some of those idiots, because I've started this already.
We're recording now.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Excellent. First bleep already. Well done.
Well, I edit it. It's fine.
But yeah, some of those fine people.
Let's not call them that. We don't know them.
Well, actually, we probably do know most of them because we sent it out, and only people that would actually know us care at all. See,
Do they care though?
I managed to censor myself there. Some of them, we got some very nice comments back about what I called a rambling monstrosity, but
yeah, they could just be being nice. Maybe they hated it, just showing support.
I'd not considered that.
Yeah, well,
now I feel
let's bring you down to my level.
So yeah. So anyway, so now you've completely flummoxed me.
That was the plan.
Well done. Well, mission success. Well done.
Thank you.
So, one overriding comment that we did get was people asking about the sort of headset we're using and would we recommend anything and that side of things. So,
yeah.
I thought it might be, There
you go.
Bloody hell.
Hey.
Wow.
I mean, that doesn't have to be the episode name, but just put something in.
The Pilot Strikes Back. I like it. That's beautiful. We've got our first major.
Right, we need a reset.
So we're going to let the nice people know that we made a major balls up in the recording.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the blame because I was trying to clever. Look, that there, it was that what did it.
Yeah. So just quickly because we've had to cut some rubbish out there.
It was gold.
When Dave projected that, because of the way we're capturing this, it switched the view. So the recording only recorded that rather than us, which is obviously not what we wanted. Good work. We're all learning. We're all making mistakes.
Well, mainly me.
Well, the problem is obviously it's incredibly difficult to see the capture when you've got a headset on. So
this is true. Come on, Zucker, get picture in picture on so we can see. That's what we want.
That's it. We need a producer, Dave. We've already hit that level.
Right. Well, any volunteers?
Anyway. So
you won't get paid.
Dave has very kindly put together a slide deck, which
depending how we edit this, he didn't know at all.
No,
this was happening.
Didn't. So this has become incredibly professional, kind of. But considerably less off the cuff now because we've already just talked about this already. And obviously everything with the slide deck, you can turn the fun factor down by a magnitude of probably 3, 4, 5 times.
I can just close it if you want.
No, it's fine. You tried, so I think we should keep it in.
So the lesson there, kids, is don't try. This is what you get.
I learned that lesson long ago, Dave. So anyway, I think basically we were just starting to talk how I got interested in VR, basically. Yeah. So back in the mists of time. I'm not even going to put a date on it because everybody out there will be able to check it. I saw these VR things starting to appear in arcades. That's how old I am. I remember arcades. So that were wholly underpowered in terms of computing. Very, very slow. Made you want to puke. Didn't really show you very much. And I never actually got to try them. It was one of those things that I always wanted to see, but never actually got the chance. So then obviously Oculus started. There was the Kickstarter and the first development kit, as they called it, DK1, came out. I saw stuff about that, didn't have one. But by the time they released the so-called DK2, development kit 2, I got one. So that there is my lovely youngest daughter. She wanted to know what Daddy was doing because I was sat at my computer wearing that get-up, which was
stylish.
Yeah. So that's the only picture I've got of it. It was of her having a go. But basically, that setup I put together to play Elite Dangerous, which, for those of you that don't know, you sit in a spaceship. You can see the cockpit and you can fly around in space, basically. Hence the joystick controller and things. There was no such thing as hand tracking at that point in time. There were no motion controllers or anything like that. So resolution was pretty low in that thing. You couldn't really read the text anywhere and that sort of things that was in the ship. But I experienced my first moment of presence. As they call
is that
that's how they say it. Presence.
The presence.
Because you start off in a space station and you have to fly out into outer space through the docking port. And as I flew through that, there's a like a weird sci-fi low hum. And me being the mega geek that I was, I had a butt kicker device attached to my chair.
Is that what it was called?
That's what it's called. Called a butt kicker, and it vibrates with basically sound. And so as you flew through this thing, my chair vibrated, and I was instantly transported to actually feeling like I was there.
You had the OG incredible haptics then.
I did, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it was incredible. And I've been chasing the dragon ever since, so to speak. I'm not sure that's what they call it, but so yeah, I didn't play very much more on that thing. I played a hacked version of Alien Isolation, which was both horrifying and horrifically nausea-inducing. I remember cowering in a cupboard from an alien, about to throw up. Basically, it was pretty cool. Other than the horrific nausea feeling, which took hours to dissipate.
Oh wow! Well, I'm glad I got in late when it's moved on then.
Yeah, and so from there, I think the next headset I tried was Sony's effort, the PlayStation VR.
That's Paul.
Yeah, beautiful.
We've broken the wall. He's real.
and I didn't realize that picture existed, Dave. So thanks very much for that.
Got more pictures of you that you don't know about.
Oh Christ. Anyway, you can probably explain a bit about this because you were here, because you took that horrific photo.
Yeah, so that was at Eurogamer in 2017. So you have known me for a while without knowing the colour of my eyes. I'll call back there.
It's still not blue. Anyway.
And this, I think had it even come out at this point?
No, it hadn't. No, this was pre-release. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to sign up. I think, I can't remember if it was in advance of going or whether you had to do it as soon as you got there. But anyway, you had to sign up and pick a time slot. And then when you got there, you were stood in front of me and the bloke asked how old you were, which, well, if you're over 18, which looking at both of us, it should be pretty obvious.
Looking at both of us, you actually have that beard in real life.
Yes, I do.
And I'm older than you anyway. But I thought, if you say no here, are they just going to turn you away because you're not old enough to basically see it? So I went, yes.
You fool.
To which he then said, have you got a problem with horror? To which I still really wanted to try it out, and I'm not a horror fan, but I said, no. Like that.
And then you were put in a queue, and
you went, nah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I swear, I went, no horror for me.
So they sent you off in one direction and me off in another direction.
Yeah, but because they only had one of what you end up playing, whereas I just went to another side which had like 4 or 5 different games. I think there was like, was the Iron Man one out? It might have been, I don't know, but there was a space flight one, and the one I ended up playing was a mafia thing where you were just in a getaway car and shooting people essentially. So yes, there wasn't much to it. It was basically you're in a car, you had a magazine. I don't think it even counted your bullets. So you just had a little machine gun and you would fire it until the magazine ran out. You would reach on the dash, grab a magazine, jam it into the gun, and then continue firing. And it lasted about 2 minutes. So I was kind of like, meh, don't really think I'm going to get one based on that. So I just opted out. But then I went round to find you. And I don't think you'd gone on it straight away. I think you were waiting, and then this happened. So
I ended up in a demo they called Kitchen, which later became what was the VR version of Resident Evil. I can't remember which version.
I think it's 7. Yeah,
I don't know. There's that many Resident Evil games now at this point. But, and so they sat me down on that chair. They gave me a PlayStation controller and stuck that on my head, and I was inside what can only be described as an absolutely horrific horror kitchen from like you see in some of these like Saw movies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I got my wrists bound together like this.
You've been there before.
Indeed. And then I was there, and a policeman, I think it was a policeman, comes in and comes up to you and says, quick, we've got to get you out of here. And you have to hold your PlayStation controller up so he can cut your ropes. And as he's doing that, some horrific thing comes in behind, grabs him and pulls him out of the room.
Yep.
And you're just sat there. And all of a sudden, his head is thrown back into the room and rolls to your feet.
Yeah. And I can see all this on a TV. There's a big, like, I don't know, 50, 60-inch TV. Yeah. So I can see it, but obviously you see it differently in VR.
Yes. Yeah, it's a slightly different experience in VR. And then this what turns out to be some horrific, like, witch woman thing, as I remember, comes in, climbs around you, sits on your lap with a knife, from what I can remember. My memory's not the best, but
I think she goes back out, or comes back, like goes out and then back in the room. Maybe you can't see her.
She walks behind you. You can hear her go behind you, and then all of a sudden, the hands come down from down above your face. Yeah. And I think the demo ended with you being like killed.
I think it's probably implied that she breaks your neck or something like that.
Or slits your throat or something equally horrendous. But the main reason for telling you this story is
what happened next?
I then came off and we got to see the next person going up to do the same demo.
It was fabulous.
And so obviously I now knew what was going to happen. So I said, Dave should probably continue to watch this. And let's say the next person was not quite as composed in the chair as I was.
To say that you can see on that picture how close to the wall that chair is, and there's a reason for that, I think, because they've seen people on it. So I'm pretty sure he banged the chair into the wall.
He did,
and he was literally screaming like, "Ah! Ah!"
He was cowering. His hands were up. He was crawling off the chair. He was screaming blue murder. And that nice person in the blue shirt in the background, I think, came and helped him remove the headset.
Yeah, I mean, he left it probably longer than I would have liked if it was me in the headset.
Oh yes, he absolutely left it longer. Yep. And I wouldn't have wanted to sit on that chair after he'd been on it either, because the way he was screaming, I'm pretty sure it would have needed a wipe down.
I don't really. That's gross.
But yeah. So anyway, that was the experience of PlayStation VR. I didn't get one either. Main reason being was because of the tracking system they used on it. It tracked the lights with basically a webcam, and you got a lot of drift. And me being a little particular with the motion sickness, I decided that wasn't a very good idea to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, my wife used a PSVR at a friend's house. I was there, and she played that Until Dawn. Was it back? Blood? I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically an on-rail shooter based in the Until Dawn universe.
As most of the early games were.
Yeah. And it was funny to watch because she was absolutely terrible at it. Just hands going everywhere like this, like, what do I do? What do I do? But she wasn't actually scared. It was just that she couldn't do it. So But then I'm kind of out of things. Then I haven't done anything with VR since then until now.
Yeah.
But you have with Microsoft stuff, haven't you?
Well, I have, but I've had a few headsets I ordered and got the Oculus Rift, the first proper consumer Oculus headset, which was PC based, and in fact everything up until the Quest 2, which we're using now, has been PC based. So I got that. I got the HTC Vive, which was built in collaboration with Valve, and used their Lighthouse technology for the tracking, which was fantastic for room scale stuff compared to the Oculus Rift, which had some weird sensor things that you stood on your desk, basically. So I sold the Oculus Rift, used the HTC Vive, which is where I got to play the lab, which was came with it, which was set in the Aperture Science. It's got the robots and that sort of thing. So you got to do some of that stuff, and the presence in that is fantastic. That Vive was great. Sound was much better, and all sorts. But then one of my lighthouses died, and they're quite expensive to replace. So I used that as an excuse to upgrade and went to the Valve Index. So Valve released their own headset, using a new version of the same tracking technology, a better, higher resolution screen, better sound again, an absolutely fantastic headset, but again for PC based VR. And that I got along with what I would say is probably the pinnacle in VR gaming that I've seen to date, which is Half-Life Alyx. You've
been trying to get me to play that.
I have been trying to get you to play that, and I haven't played it all the way through. I love the Half-Life games, but the problem generally with PC VR is where my PC is. I don't have an enormous amount of room.
Well, same here. Like as you saw last time, I punched a bottle. So
yeah.
And things like that.
That is a fantastic game though, and you absolutely feel like you are in that world. So from that perspective, head crabs can be scary when you're up close and personal with them.
Yeah,
but yeah, and then the main reason, as over the years, the last couple of years now. Was it 2020 or 21? I think it's 21, early 21. Obviously, the pandemic hit. I'm not sure why jazz hands were needed at that point. And Microsoft released Microsoft Mesh, or they announced Microsoft Mesh, I should say, rather than released it. And therefore, they did their Ignite show. This is it.
Yeah,
they did their Ignite show, and they did it in VR, so in alt space. basically. So this was me using my my PC headset to go along to it, and as you can see from the picture, it was basically like sitting in like a cinema. You went in. There was a great big screen projected up where Satya Nadella introduced Ignite and talked to you about the future of everything Microsoft. And that was all well and good and kind of what I expected. But then something different happened. This is what happened. No, this is not what I expected, and this absolutely blew my mind. So,
oh wow, okay.
This is Alec Kipman, I think it is his name. He's been working in this space for years at Microsoft, and this is him appearing on stage. So that TV screen you saw before was like just up in the background, whereas this was a stage out in front of us, and he appeared. Wearing his headset and everything, what Microsoft calls holoportation, which I'm not entirely sure whether I love the name or hate it.
Come on, rethink.
But he was there in 3D space on that stage, and then there started to be interactive stuff. So this select a fish thing that appeared in front of you. You could pick a fish, and then everybody picked different fish, and those fish appeared around us. And you were there with other people experiencing this, and they were swimming round the stage. And
so it wasn't fishing then.
It wasn't fishing. There was a piece with some under ocean exploration people and the BBC and that sort of thing. Yeah. So as you can see here, there's a I think it's a whale shark swimming around, but it looks like it's decapitated him.
I was going to say, it looks like he's transformed like Resident Evil style.
Which wasn't the case. It was just swimming in front of him. So, which is obviously a very different experience to seeing something on a flat screen. And then on the right there, you've got James Cameron appearing, telling you all about his fantastic undersea exploration business. As there's a giant squid swimming over the top.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even noticed that.
Yeah. And it was just absolutely mesmerizing. Like it was amazing to be there. There was some other stuff which I don't have pictures of, whereby they got a company that scanned bridges with drones, so they'd fly the drones around them, and then people would use the VR to go and actually inspect the bridges virtually, rather than them have to dangle from ropes underneath bridges and all the rest of it. So like some real world applications for it, which was pretty amazing. I don't know what else you've got in here picture wise. I can't remember. Okay,
that's after party, getting a dance on and things like that.
It is, yeah. So yeah, the one on the right, they did a very weird, trippy thing. I think the Cirque du Soleil people, I think, were involved in creating this, and it was basically a Burning Man type scenario. It was wholly weird. I'll be honest. But you got some real people in the middle dancing and around the outside. So there's dancers around the outside, and then the rest of us who were just in us normal people with our normal avatars, we were kind of floating around watching the whole thing in 3D space. It was, I'll say, it was bizarre and peculiar. Not the sort of thing you generally expect at a Microsoft like business event. No. But then afterwards, you were out in a virtual conference type environment where you could actually go and speak to people that had just experienced the same thing as you. And
I got those backwards then.
Oh, wow. And really speak. Yeah. But as you can see, like people that were speaking, they'd have speech bubbles appear above their head. The sound was very much like it is here, so it's all spatial. And as you walk away from people or teleport away from people, like conversations disappear. So you can actually have those conversations as your eyes are doing.
So come on, stuff. What did you eavesdrop on?
I don't remember.
Any goss?
Like there was no super creepy behavior, Dave.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, this episode is a lot less laughing. I'm realizing.
Well, we had to do the first half again, so that's kind of taken the steam out of it, I think.
So and then since then,
That is actually different.
Yeah, so it is. So this is the latest Microsoft Ignite that's just gone. So they didn't do a big presentation like they did for the previous one. This was they did the normal video presentation piece, but they had a number of sessions that were held within virtual spaces, again within Altspace, and so you would go in and actually get to speak to real Microsoft employees, MVPs, as well as other, obviously, attendees. So it was much more like going to a real conference, which obviously, again, at this point in time, we weren't allowed to leave our homes and that sort of thing. So it was a really good way to experience that without going outside, which I'm a big fan of staying indoors away from people anyway. So as you know,
yes.
And I think there's another picture. Is there another picture of me with somebody?
No.
Oh, you didn't do that.
You didn't give me that one.
Anyway, there was
I won't stop sharing in case.
Fudge.
We don't want that monstrosity to happen again. Yeah. No. So I actually met somebody I used to work with who now works in the mixed reality space, basically. And I got to meet him and we caught up as if we'd not seen, well, which we haven't seen in a few years. And so we were there and chatting, just catching up, off in a quiet corner of one of these rooms. And in fact, we were there that long that somebody from Microsoft came wandering through and said, "Oh, there are people in here. Yeah, the event's finished. Everybody's gone." We were just in there chatting as if you would, like
you got ushered out by the Microsoft cleaner.
We virtually got ushered out of a virtual environment. Yeah. So, and that leads us basically right up to date, which is getting an Oculus Quest 2, which is a mobile standalone headset. So
yes,
basically,
no cables.
Basically, you've got a mobile phone effectively in the front of it. So which and the no cable thing is utterly fantastic.
Yeah, you can get a cable though, can't you, to hook onto a PC?
You can.
You can.
So you can still experience that stuff, but for this purpose, not having a cable on you and even not having controllers in your hands so you can actually continue to do stuff and work at a computer and that sort of thing is just truly fantastic. So that brings us like right up to date, which is where I am now and why I tried to get you interested and involved. And I'm pushing it in my work placement and that side of things as well. So
he hasn't shut up about it for ages, so I just gave in basically. He beat me down. Absolutely beat me down.
It's how I work. Wear people down until they just agree to anything is basically how it works. So I know that wasn't as fun and exciting and as interesting. Or hopefully it was interesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've got to get this one out of the way.
Yeah, it's the difficult second album. Yeah,
we'll be like Nickelback now. They'll just flow. We'll just churn them out now.
Do we have to be like Nickelback? I don't want that. So yeah, it's hopefully we'll have a bit more interest. Oh well, actually, this is the point, Dave. Since we're publishing this on YouTube, you've got to do what the kids do. We want people to like,
thumbs
comment,
if you like it.
Thumbs if you don't, if that's still a thing, because they keep threatening
dislike,
to take it away.
But they won't show us the stats, so we don't get upset.
Yeah. Put any comments of anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like us to talk about, that sort of thing in the comments.
Yeah.
And subscribe as well, so you actually get to see any more of this if we're allowed to continue.
Allowed?
Well, you never know. All sorts of people try to stop us doing stuff. Fight the power!
Can't silence us!
But yeah,
I think next time we were, like, depending on what people say, we were going to talk about a couple of bits, like a bit of tech stuff, like Steam Deck and gaming and things like that, and just vary it up a bit, really.
Yeah.
Bit of a variety pod.
Yeah, just anything and everything that kind of comes to mind. But I want to thank the people that did watch the first one, because it was a bit all over the place. But we got some very nice comments.
We did.
People are very kind. I'm sure that will change. I'm sure that,
especially after you called the last one a monstrosity. This one, I think, actually earns it. So,
oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's because it was mostly him.
Yeah, that's fair. I hear that a lot. So. But yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you think, and whether we should continue or not. I guess
we don't have to listen to them.
We don't
anyway.
Yeah, we could just do it anyway for ourselves,
for fun. Yeah,
but I think that's a reasonable place to leave it.
Yep. Let's leave it there. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. And we'll see you again. Maybe.
Nice awkward exit here. Bye. Turn it off, man.